Hi guys, hope you're enjoying your snow day. I am going to work through the worksheet that we would have done in class today. If you feel like you want to do this worksheet on your own, then that's fine. Just go ahead and do it. Then my answer key is posted on It's Learning for you. You can check your work there. If you want to listen and get an explanation as we go through it like I would in class, then you can keep watching this video. So this is the worksheet for my kids. You guys are going to want to print this off of It's Learning because I did not give this to you. I probably should have. But what we're doing is we are using NAG, which is numerically, algebraically, and geographically, to talk about analyzing our functions. Okay. I'm going to do some work on a scratch piece of paper next to this, but number one is asking us to find this information from this given function, f of x equals x times x minus 3 cubed. So we're going to find the critical points, relative max and min, intervals of increasing and decreasing, and where our functions concave up and concave down. So I already started to do some of this, so I've got it covered. First, we're looking at it analytically. Okay. So this right here is we're starting with our function, and before we can figure out our critical points, which is the first thing we want to find, we have to actually take the derivative. So if you're looking at this, we have the product rule, and then inside the product rule here, we're going to have a chain rule. So the first thing that I did is I did the product with the chain rule. So you get 1 times x minus 3 cubed plus 3 times x minus 3 squared times 1. That's the derivative of the inside. And then this is the first piece, so the x. Okay. When we start cleaning that up, the first thing that I did here is I found the GCF, which is x minus 3 squared, and when you factor that out, you get an x minus 3, plus 3x. So when you clean that up, the f prime of x is equal to x minus 3 squared times 4x minus 3. Okay, so now that we have the derivative, we can find the critical points. So the critical points here, I'm going to try to focus this up a little bit better for you guys. The critical points, when you find them, we have to remember the critical points are where our function, or the derivative of our function, is 0 or undefined. So on this function, we don't have any undefineds because we don't have any x's in the denominator. So what I'll already did here is I took both pieces, the x minus 3 squared, and I set that equal to 0, and you get 3. And you also take 4x minus 3, set that equal to 0, and we're going to get x equals 3/4. Okay. From there, we are actually going to be able to find our relative max and min. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take those critical values here and I'm going to put them on my sign chart for the first derivative. Okay, so remember this is the negative infinity sign side, that's the positive. I'm going to put my 3/4 here and 3 over here. Okay, and when I pick a number that's smaller than 3/4, like 0, and I plug it into the derivative here, I'm mainly concerned with, is it going to give me a positive or a negative number? So 0 minus 3 is negative 3. If I square that, that's positive. If I plug in a 0 here, I get 0 minus 3. So this is a positive times, this is a positive, yes, times a negative 3. So that is going to give me a negative. Okay. If I plug in a number like 1, I would get negative 2 squared, which is 4. So that's positive 4. If I plug in a 1 here, I get 4 minus 3, which is 1. So this is positive times positive. So this section is positive. Okay. And then if we pick a number bigger than 3, like 4, 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 squared is 1. So that's positive. And then 4 times 4 is 16. 16 minus 3, that's positive. Positive times positive gives us another positive. So we've got a negative, a positive, and positive, which means this is going to be decreasing, increasing, and increasing. Okay. So that helps us figure out for part B here our relative max and relative min. So our relative max, remember, this is where our derivative is changing from increasing to decreasing, and I don't have that anywhere here, so we don't have any, so I'll just put none. And for relative min, this is where our function changes from decreasing to increasing. So right here, when x is 3/4, we will have a relative min. So when x is 3/4. Okay. If we actually want the point, we would then plug in 3/4 into the original function, originally f of x, to get what that is, but I'm just concerned with what the x value is right now. Okay. For part C, we're finding the intervals of increase and decrease. Well, we've already got that labeled right here. So I have a decreasing interval from -infinity to 3/4. And then the rest of this is all increasing. So increasing from 3/4 to infinity. Okay. Sorry if you guys are having a hard time seeing that. I wanted to make sure I could get as much on the screen at one time, so it's kind of far away. Okay. Then the last thing that we need to do is find where the function is concave up and concave down. So that means now I actually have to get the second derivative. So we're going to go back up here where we had our first derivative, and I'm going to take the derivative of that. Okay, so we've got, so part D, the second derivative. We definitely have a product rule, and then this one's going to have a chain rule. So we've got the derivative of the first, which is 2x minus 3, reduce the power by 1. Take the derivative of the inside, which is 1, times the second, 4x minus 3, plus the derivative of the second, which is 4, times the derivative, or sorry, times the first, not the derivative. Okay. I'm going to clean it up. So we get a GCF of 2x minus 3, and that leaves us with 4x minus 3 plus 2 times x minus 3. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and keep cleaning this up. F double prime of x, 2 times x minus 3. This is going to give me a 2x minus 6, so 4x plus 2x, 6x, and -3 minus 6 is -9. Okay. Then to find my intervals where it's concave up and concave down, I need to find the inflection points, which are the critical values, so where this equals 0. So 0 equals 2 times x minus 3, and 0 equals 6x minus 9. So x minus 3 equals 0, x equals 3. And this one over here, add 9 to both sides, divide by 6, so x equals 3/2. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a new sign chart, and I've got 3/2 here and 3. When we pick a number smaller than this, like 0, and plug it into the second derivative, okay, I'm just looking if I get positive or negative, and we will get a positive. When I pick a number bigger, like 2, and plug it in, okay, we will get a negative. And when I plug in a number bigger than 3, like 4, into the second derivative, we are going to get a positive, yeah. Okay, so this right here will help tell me that this is the piece that's concave up, this piece is concave down, and this piece is concave up. So we have concave up from negative infinity to 3/2, and from 3 to infinity, and we have concave down from 3/2 to 3. Oops, sorry. That's off the paper. There we go. Okay, so that is analytically, so that's basically doing it all by algebra by hand, so using the first derivative test and the second derivative test to get all that information. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to look at the second part of this, which is numerically. So a little bit closer. Fortunately, you guys have this on your own paper. Okay, so it says answer the following questions about the table f of x below, given that all this information is true. So we've got our x values across the top. We've got f of x, so when we plug these x's in, these are the y values that we get out. When we plug the x's into the first derivative, these are the y values. And when we plug these x values into the second derivative, these are the values we get. Okay, so the first question says, what is the minimum number of maxima that f of x will attain, and what will the function values at those points? And justify the answer. So here we have to remember that we have a maximum. Well, first we have to find our critical values, so that is where the first derivative equals 0. So I'm looking here, 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 and here. So that means if I am looking to the left of here, this is a positive number, so this is positive. It's a negative number, so this is negative, positive, negative. So we know that we have maximum when it goes from a positive slope to a negative slope. So here we go from positive to negative. So that means this x of negative 4 is going to be max. And same thing over here, the x of negative 1 is going to be a max. So how many will we have? We will have at least 2. Okay, and yeah. Okay, so our reasoning was because this is where f prime of x changes from positive slope to negative slope. Okay, so the next one is talking about what is the minimum number of of minima that f of x will attain. Okay, so here I'm looking, well, I know a minima is going to happen when we change from a negative slope to a positive. So I can see here that that is going to happen one time. Okay, so one time. That's going to be when x is negative 2, my y value is negative 4. If we wrote what the points were here, okay, it would be at negative 4, 2, and at 1, 6. Okay, and this is because this is where f prime of x changes